8 with the parents. You know, they would drop the kids and then we will have our morning meeting, coffee morning meeting with parents. But possibly we might need to reconsider that for the online learning. I hope everybody has their coffee with them. Just wait a couple of minutes more and then we will kick it off. So Alpana, we begin. It's already 8:02 and we have quite a lot to share. So I think we will begin.
Yes.
You're going to move the slides as I speak?
Yeah.
All right. So good morning, everybody. We're very happy to start our morning with you all. I hope you all have your coffee with you. Today is International Coffee Day. So maybe that's why we said we will meet you 8 in the morning so that you guys come with your coffee so that we celebrate this day together and enjoy a good cup of coffee together. So we are now 2 months into this academic year. And usually we reserve these coffee morning to kind of update you on what we're doing, where we are, also get your feedback. Also, it allows me, in a sense, to bring forward future thinking, the stuff the management are working on, what we're considering now that our strategic plan is very much put aside, because in the time of crisis, in the time of a global pandemic, following just a simple strategic plan that we have, the 5-year strategic plan, doesn't make sense because everything has become very much unknown. So during it, implementing a strategic plan means, you have very clear deliverables, you have very clear expectations to say, these are my numbers, these will be my budget, these will be my activities. But honestly, starting last March, we had no choice but to put this strategic plan on hold and begin with what we call scenario planning. And scenario planning is something, and future thinking and planning. And it's something I'm going to introduce to you today and also get your feedback and your thinking behind it, because your thinking and your feedback is actually what's going to help us put in place for the coming years. So in all our meetings before with you, I've always described this as a journey of 4 stages. Our first stage was when we had to move from on-site learning, so the normal classes that we had, to remote learning. So we moved to online. Now we're in stage 2, believe it or not, where we're still on remote, but we're en route to reopening. October 5th, next Monday, is when we open our campus to year MYP5, which is year 11, and DP2, which is year 13. We've been approved by the government and the National Inspectorate Board to open our campus for them for these examination year. So Monday is where we open and we begin with the hybrid model. And then the rest of the class will come in and will trickle in one after the other. So stage 3 and stage 4 is actually what I want to talk more with you today and kind of pick your brains a bit and see what you think about it. So as I said here, stage 2 was the reopening, October 5. Also, we've been approved. Alpana, the next one, please. We've been approved to also get all our students in the SEN register, so the Special Education Needs Register. So students who are autistic, Down syndrome, dyslexic, ADHD. So we've been also approved by the government to get them back on campus and give them the support and the interventions that they need. Starting this week also, all our staff are back on campus. We were waiting for 3 of our staff who are still out of Ghana. When the borders opened, they've joined us now in Ghana. So all our staff are actually back in Ghana, implementing the program from school, majority. Those high risk, a few high risk are doing it from home. But I think more than 95% of us are already on campus. The guiding principles for us reopening on Monday for our students and what we've done, we've put in place for our special education needs students is very much the key issue is the protection of the health and safety, following clearly the guidelines. So we had to actually submit our COVID-19 plans and health and safety plans to the government. They also provided us and they approved these plans. So these have been approved. Now we're in the process of familiarizing. We've already familiarized our staff, but we need now the new students coming in on Monday will need to be familiarized with all these processes. We've made very clear the expectation from our teachers. We've had numerous, over the past 2 months, numerous trainings with our teachers. For the rest of the classes, it is expected that they will be coming back in on January 2021. But we will not share specifically the plans before December because the local conditions will not be clear before then, because there's spike, there's going down, a lot of changes can happen. So we've decided, though the plans are there, but we won't share the final plans with our community before December 2020. Now, to tell you what, as us management, like I manage 7 different divisions in the school. So there's the primary division, there's the secondary division, there's the finance, there's the admissions communication, there's the administration and the HR, and there's the IT, and there's also aspect of the well-being. That's another division in itself. So what have been we focusing on? We have weekly meetings, we have plans, we have kind of processes and things we focus on. So mainly what we've been constantly reviewing and adapting and making better are our remote learning protocols and timetables. The online safety is something that is becoming more and more critical for us. We've realized certain issues with some parents and some students, and this digital citizenship is of critical consideration for us. Zoom protocols, day in, day out, we keep improving on them. The IT infrastructure, we've had no choice but to dedicate around $50,000 to completely upgrade the school's IT infrastructure to get ready only to admit the year 11 and year 13, because we're gonna have around 90 students in school completely using the online facilities, the internet, the Wi-Fi and things. So we had to upgrade the system that we had in school to a corporate system, actually. So before, the system we had in place allowed for the blended learning. So a bit of online, so 50% online, 50% face-to-face teaching. But now the students coming in will be inside here in the school, but kind of focused more on 90% online learning while the teachers are there to support. So they've also been doing a lot of, and that's Dana's work, doing a lot of changes and adaptation in our communication and admissions protocol. And as one of our teachers puts it, you know, when we admit a new student, you know, seeing a student lost in our corridors here in school, we can just kind of, anyone can help them figure out where to go. But having a student lost online is as if you've been lost in the matrix. The contact person, considering that all of us are involved in classrooms and online meeting, this has taken a lot of time for us to consider how can we put clear protocols and support students. And we have more than 85 new students in IRIS this year. So this really took a lot of creative and innovative thinking of how can we support these new admissions in an online system. Also, we've had to reconsider and reshape a lot of our staff collaboration, the training focus. I'm sure Alpana will talk more about that. Also providing parental support and collaboration, working closely with the parents. The whole structure has become very different. And I think we might have nailed it by now, honestly. But it's also something that it would be constantly improving and getting better. Same thing with student support and follow-up. We've been very much focused on the new primary completion here. So we want to move the primary campus here ASAP. So this has taken a lot of our focus. In addition, we also started the Aris Sports Academy. So the football court that a lot of you have see here is being moved to the new land that we purchased. And over there, we're going to have a football court, a semi-Olympic pool, 3 multi-purpose court, basketball, tennis, and a gymnasium. So all these facilities come under the Aris Sports Academy, which will also run separate program after the school. Okay, so these are the things we've kind of very much been focusing a lot of our energy, thinking, and practices. No, I would say we're doing 50% of our time doing that. But the other 50% of our time is basically futures thinking and planning. And it very much stems from the aspect of, are you guys expecting us to go back to what the school was before? You know, are we going back to the past? Are we going, you know, there's always that notion for parents that one day we will just go back to what it was. Or are we considering a whole new future for us, for our students, and for the school? So why future has an S? Because it is futures, and we don't know which one it will end up being. But we need to consider all these futures as we strategically, or remove the, you know, look at different scenarios of where the school can go. Next, Alpana, please. So I put this here just to kind of tell parents what are the expectations of how the pandemic will end. So this is an article that was shared with heads of schools, international schools from all over the world, on giving us a thought, you know, consider this. It's something that's gonna be for 2-3 years. It's not gonna, something that is, we're hoping in 6 months, we just go back to what we were. No, it's a 2-3 year issue. The expectation, so this is the American scenario, by the way. And if you see the last line, it says in many parts of the developing world, the process moves more slowly. So if for America, this is the process, for us, the expectations that the process will even move more slowly when it comes to COVID-19. So the key thing is that an effective vaccine won't see the light before early 2021. The vaccination begins with the high-risk population and those essential workers working in the medical field. Then, but still throughout, there's going to be outbreak. And I think we've seen it in Europe. We've seen it in Asia. You start opening schools, then you close again, then you open again, then you close again. So these are the expectations for the coming 2 years. And this is where we decided to completely invest in our IT structure, because we understand that this is not going to be a few months thing, but actually years in process. So the expectation is not before 2022, where after vaccination, the second generation vaccines come in, better treatment are put in place, you know, where there will be more control over this global pandemic. So it's a journey of 2 years. And this is why we really need to consider how to lead and how to move the school forward into that. Next, please, Alpana. So this is something I feel very strongly about. And this is something positive I want you to think about. When it comes to the future, you have 2 choices. You either sit back and think it's not happening to me and build a great big wall to keep out all the bad news. And a lot of us have wanted to do that a lot in the past few months. Or you can build windmills and harness the winds of change. There are opportunities in all of what is happening right now. And we want as a school to really harness these possibilities and these, this change. So for now, I just want you to interact with you a bit and just get to feel where you stand on this. So you can see I'm optimistic about the future at the top. I'm pessimistic about the future at the bottom. Individuals will influence the future on my right. Outside forces will influence the future. So I want you to, on the chat, tell me where you stand. Are you in that quadrant, which is the 5, 6, 7, 8, where you feel optimistic and you know that individual will influence the future? Are you pessimistic? So you're in the lower quadrant and you feel more that we're going to be completely overwhelmed with the outside forces, but we still believe that individual will have something to do with it. So where do you find yourself? Use the chat and share which number you connect with. Thank you, Syria. School and otherwise, where do you feel? Don't forget, what's happening to the school is not we're not alone. It's happening for everything, for our business, other businesses, family, relationships. Where do you see, where do you place yourself? Are you optimistic? Do you think there's something that's gonna come out? Individuals are always gonna make things happen, or are you more pessimistic and considering that forces are just going to, where do you place yourself? And reflect on that a bit. It helps you kind of, it also helps us also connect with you and understand. Thank you. Because thinking of the school outside of our environment doesn't make sense, because we do belong in a general environment. So it's important you have in 4 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometime on that line then.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you can be in the quadrant. So, but just, it helps define that. If you're in 2 quadrants, then you're coming on the line, I would say. It's really making my work much easier when I see people so much more on the positive, like we know as individuals, we can influence, we can change the future. And no matter what, we don't want to be pessimists, we're more on the optimistics. And I can see majority of you, I didn't get any 13, 14. And this really goes to say, we have a very positive community, and that's great. I'm actually, when I did that exercise, I was more on I'll write my answer, I was a 5. So I do agree with the majority of you on the future and what we can expect, or what we see things happening. Alpana next. So what we need to do right now, and in the way moving forward, we need to create some shifts in our thinking. We can't be thinking and working and doing. And what we need to do is something called, can I see the next slide, Alpana? Because there's one before that one. No, the one before, yes. Alpana, just don't change until I tell you, please.
Okay.
So go back one. One forward, please. One forward. Yes. So after the shifts in our thinking.
Then I go.
Go, please.
Next. It comes next.
Next. One next. Thank you. No, one back, please. Thank you. So the shift that we need to do, you know, we always talk, and even in the IB, we use the word reflection. You know, we're reflecting. But the thing about reflection is that you think about the past and what is happening, and you reflect on it, and then you decide what's next. You know, you reflect, it changes you, you adapt, you make decisions, and you think, what next? The thing with the situation where we're in right now is that reflection doesn't help much, because we need to do, and that's where everybody is talking about, preflection. And preflection, next, Alpana, is very much that. Reflecting on something before it happens. So we need to think of the future, on the possibilities, on the influences, on the drivers, on what can happen in the future, and do all that preflection so that we can plan and put things in place for our future, for the future of our school, for the future of our students. So what is meaningful for us and what drivers affect us for us to be able to plan adequately and have everything in place for us to be successful in the future. So next, Alfana, please. So what we're trying to do right now, and I tell you that's the 50% of the time that we're trying to do, we're trying to write the future. We're trying to write the history of the future, to say, this is the possibilities, these are the scenarios of the futures, because the futures can go in many different directions. And looking at all these futures and drivers and directions, this is how we're going to be planning. Next, please. So future thinking, basically, what does it do? It expands our understanding of the world we want in the future. It provides new perspective and context, because this will very much affect our day-to-day and everyday decisions. It also kind of looks at the aspect of the problem we had with strategic planning. You know, strategic planning, we said 5 years, 7 years, this is what we're expecting is going to happen. You know, it's quite clear. But what we realized with the pandemic is that the future cannot be predicted. But yet, we still need to make choices on what is yet to come. So the emphasis in all this future thinking process and planning is we think about what could happen, looking at the different internal and external drivers and the conditions that we live in. And believe me, the drivers that are affecting us here in Ghana can be very different than the drivers that might affect us in South America or Europe or Asia. The drivers are very different, and we really need to take the local understanding and the local context of what is happening here in Ghana and in the region, in Africa. So, and it focuses on us building contingencies, you know? So we need to invest in contingencies. So what can happen so that we are better prepared? We cannot remain as before with the way COVID-19 just hit us. But though there's also a big question, why were we surprised with COVID-19? Looking at everything that was happening from 2012, we've had the SARS, we've had the Ebola, we've had the different infections that happened throughout the times. So was it so much of a surprise? But the thing that nobody was actually reading it, nobody was having that bird's eye view to see, okay, this is what's happening, we need to get ready. And some governments were saying, we need to get ready for a global pandemic. but nobody was listening. So right now, it's important we do start thinking of all of that. And as we are thinking of all of that, the key thing is that we build trust and community, because we cannot face these challenges without reaching out to our stakeholders and understanding what seems to be important for you, what seems to be important for our students, what seems to be important for our staff, and how can we build this together. So from here, we've assembled a task force, and the task force is growing. That includes management, staff, students, parents, which will allow us to kind of think of what all the drivers and possibilities can be, so that we can plan for our futures and be ready for whatever future we are faced with. So, and the key thing is that we need to build this confidence, understanding, and trust, because we need to do this together. And it can only happen when everybody has a say and has a connection with building these many futures. So who and what is ARIS 2.0? Because we've had ARIS 1.0, who's been building up, 15th anniversary, 16th anniversary. What is our next phase? What is our next ARIS? Where do we go from here? Next, please. To do that, to decide us, these are critical things we need to put in place. We need to start unsticking our minds. We should not be stuck in the past and what did not work. We need radical imagination. Radical means from the root. We need innovation. We need imagination in thinking about the future. We need foresight, the writing of the future, writing history of the future. We need very adaptive organizational cultures. We need to be adaptive. We need to be ready and move fast, change fast. That's the only way we can really hit the road running, as you say. And we cannot just wait and say, it's a crystal ball, you know, it's not that. It needs clear planning, clear preparation, and clear foresight. Next. So we know the present is complicated. We're trying to provide education in the middle of a pandemic. We're also supporting the well-being and facilitating the post-traumatic growth, because a lot of students, parents, and families were traumatized by a lot of things that happened to them and are still happening. Some of us are thinking about survival, the survival of our businesses, the survival of our, you know, of our families. We're still thinking about survival, and we're surrounded by uncertainties and unknowns. So, how do we move forward? There's this article in Financial Times by Arundhati Roy, and she describes the pandemic as a portal. And what she says is super important. Next, Alpana, please. No, there's one missing. Yes. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks, our dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or we can walk through lightly, with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. So which is it? Do we want to keep dragging the past and thinking we need to go back to what we were? Or are we going to be ready together to reimagine a whole new future for us and our students and Ghana and the world possibly? So how do we start with that? How do we start with reimagining the future? How do we start with thinking of the drivers? How do we start with building, you know, starting writing the history of the future? So there's a few foundations, and the first one is something I want to do with you right now. Next, Alpana. There's one first question that you need to answer. This would help us a lot in imagining and building the futures that we want. And the question is, please go back.
Sorry.
Alpana, I need the ARIS Padlet to be on the chat.
Yes.
On the chat.
Yeah.
So what do you hold most sacred in schools? Think of Aris. Think of, I think some of you have been in previous schools before. What do you feel is the most sacred thing we need to put in our luggage and take with us into the future? Can you do that for me? So that will be shared on the chat.
It's done.
Yes, great. So open that Padlet and think. I use the rising of the phoenix. I love the rising of the future, you know, the rising of the eagle. And it is the rising of the eagle, the new eagle. So what do we hold sacred? What do we want to take with us through this portal? Because we are going through this portal right now. We are defining the future of Aris 2.0. What is the most sacred to you guys? As parents, you've seen your kids, you've seen the schools. Don't consider only Aris. It might be something from another school that you felt was really important and you would want Aris to put in place for the future. So what is the most sacred? And I like your students, you can just click the plus and add it there.
Let me open the Padlet here so that we all can see, or you want to?
You can see it coming so that you can see what everybody's writing.
Yeah.
Think deeper. You know, this picture is from the day from Mama Africa, where I think they were year 3 students were pointing to the future. They were actually saying you, and they were pointing to the future. But I think it's think deeper into the structures of the school. How would you imagine a new school? How would you imagine a new school? And what do you think is the most sacred thing about a school that we need to keep and take with us? Things that you don't put there are things we're going to start considering removing. So the important thing is what is not there. So we're going to start looking at what is not there. So if for you timetabling, you know, giving that structure of 1 hour per subject is not important, it's something we're going to consider possibly changing and restructuring. You know, so think of what you're not putting there also, because that gives us also a lot of insight into what is really important for you when it comes to schooling and education. And this Padlet is open, so you can come back to it whenever you feel you want to add, because this is something we constantly will reflect and reflect on. We cannot get away with reflection, of course, but it really helps us understand where we stand as a, you know, where we are as a community and how we can beginning to build our futures. Can I just ask, when you say the values, are we talking about the values of Aris, learning, greatness, or your personal family values? I would like that to be kind of also, because this helps me understand that, you know, it's very important that family, you know, community values are integrated in the way we run the school versus the school values. So it's community versus the school community versus personal values also.
Yeah, quite a number. Okay.
Somebody's still writing.
Yeah.
So if you're ready, can you just give me a thumbs up that you finished? Thank you. So I'm waiting. I can't see everybody on the screen, but I'm gonna give 1 more minute to 8:37, and then we close this Padlet. But please understand it's open. So
There is
keep
one hand
filling
raised.
in.
Dr. One hand raised. Madam
Yes.
Fatu has raised her hand.
Yes, please. Can you unmute her? Or can she be unmuted?
No, she's unmuted.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Fatou. How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see you.
Same
That
here.
positive energy.
We have no other choice. We're optimistic.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah. Hand up was for the previous one. But for this one, the value, when we are talking about it, I think the value should be combined, community value as well as personal value. But it will be challenging to get all personal value. There is some kind of standards that can fit into the community value. I think that's something to stick at.
Definitely. I fully agree. It definitely, even your personal values have to, in a sense, be met within community value, in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's say human values. How about that? We all are humans, and we kind of connect on these shared values that, you know, of humanity.
Yes, definitely. Humanity, maybe I didn't put it in because it stick into community value.
Yes.
Inside the community, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but the word humanity is really fun. It's to use the word. Definitely, yes.
I agree. I agree. So that's for me now. Is just kind of to tell you, to update you. I will hand over to Alpana to talk about more the secondary implementations and focus points. But basically, this is what we're doing right now. We're kind of trying to build a new school that is very much based on future thinking and future planning, because what we've been and to be honest with you, I don't think this is new for Aris, because we were able to move very fast into online because for the past 4 years we have been building our blended learning. I don't know how. Last year we had 13 of our staff become IT coaches through an ISTE training. We've had, you know, a lot of things. The seesaw, all the softwares we put in place were already in place before the pandemic hit. So weirdly enough, we were actually already doing that future thinking in the way we had planned the IT roadmap. So we have a roadmap and a strategy for our IT and IT integration in education. So EdTech, education technology. So we were already doing some of that, but now it's very much really radically thinking of what is really important. What is education? Defining what is education and what does it mean? And I think even businesses right now are thinking, who are the people we want to be working with us? What kind of skills they need to have? Because now, even in the business world, a lot of these big question marks, these radical questions are being asked. So, and we need to get these kids ready for that, for businesses, for careers, and for university, to be successful at university. I'm currently doing a course I'm doing my master's with Harvard University, and I can tell you it's a complete transformation. It's a complete online system, and the way we submit, the way we work, and I'm thinking, I need to ensure a lot of the skills I'm having to use in this master's, I need to make sure my students have that before they graduate from the school, ARIS. So, but still, this needs to be a community effort. And that's why it is very important for us to constantly go back and listen to you. So now I hand over to Alpana for the next part of the meeting, and then for the Q&A, of course.
May I say one
Yes.
word before you leave?
Yes.
Good morning, Ms.
Good morning,
Fatima.
Mr. Rida.
I was really thinking that about all you have said until now, but what really my personal point of view is that I don't want to see IRIS going only on the technology side and forgetting the human side of the foundation, I mean the school as it is. Yes, we are going through a specific period of time where we have to be apart from each other, but to build a society, we need to socialize. I mean, humanity did not succeed because they were living lonely in each one in its own places. No, we succeeded because we were able to build cities and societies that are bound together by social laws and regulations and things like that. So what I don't want to see is that loneliness that the kids will have. Oh, we already seeing that for sometimes when they play games online and things like that, they are completely in their world. I don't want to see that also taken out from the school curriculum. Hopefully, once things become safe, we need to go back, keep the technology as it is, but the human interaction is really very important. I mean, just spending 1 minute face to face, the knowledge that the brain can take by this interaction cannot be shared by online interactions.
I fully agree. I fully agree. And that's why please put that on the Padlet. I fully agree.
I have put that socializing is very important. Knowledge can be acquired in different ways. Yeah. We can acquire it online or with maybe a dedicated teacher, as I have one of my daughters is doing that because she's applying for the A-level and she's fine with that. But what is missing is that human interaction. And we don't want our kids to be, once they face somebody for the first time, they will be shy talking to him or don't know how to handle the discussion because they were always they were always used by doing it online or things like that. No, life is very rich in smell, in different hormonal, if you want, interactions between humans. So I think you should look for contingency plan, but don't make it the main objective of the school to go online purely.
I fully agree. As I said, we're in school and it doesn't feel the same at all not having the kids here. It's a ghost town and it's not made not to have kids. Schools are not made not to have kids. And even the way ARIS is structured is not structured. There are online academies where you can go just and get courses and you have these online, but ARIS is not structured. So ARIS, that's for sure. But we need to take into our plans that for the coming 1 to 2 years, there are times we might need to close campus and times we need to come back to campus. So these are the things we are planning for. That these contingencies of a few days in school, a few days at home, depending on the local conditions and how Corona, the global pandemic is moving forward and the availability of many things and the big questions about vaccine. There's so much now that the world needs to figure out, but we need to be ready to keep the connection going with our students. We need to be ready to providing, because the thing is we're providing an IB education and the IB has its exams at a certain time. It's expecting reports from us at a certain time. So the program needs to run, but how can we make it the best program possible? In a sense, even if it has to be online, what is something very important we need to put there to ensure that kids are still collaborating, they're still connecting, they're still sharing, there's still that human touch. And when they do come to campus,
playing, joking.
Yeah, you know, we talk about IQ, EQ. So nobody can develop EQ, emotional, intelligence if you're not interacting. It's very much dependent on human interactions. That's for sure, and we're 100% with that. Okay, so we're gonna have the questions later on, and this is something we're more than ready to discuss at length, because it's your feedback that would guide us in on the way forward, and it's very important feedback that we need. So Alpana, thank you, Mr. Rida.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Dr. Fatma. I would like to really just take a little bit of extension of what you were discussing with Mr. Rida. And absolutely, school is a community. School where the children will develop all those different kind of the key skills of their intelligence, interactions, and the communications and all. And that is why, even though we are in the virtual platform, we never stopped interacting with the students. Our Zoom, 99% schools are not doing the Zoom the way we have been doing it since morning 8:30 to 3:15. We try to make sure that kids, even in online, they interact with each other, they talk to each other, they work together in a small group, they come together. So the teachers are also interacting, because we are really feeling that the human touch is one of the essence of development. And we are going into the blended, because online and the human should be blended together. And if that doesn't work together, then we are not really imparting any education, and it will really cause a lot of a different, kind of. So our model, if you try to look at it, it is a very, very unique model. And as we can see that in this, uncertain time, everything we are trying and planning and working is as a trial basis, and then we are going to get the feedback from you, and then we will change it according to the feedback from the student, from the teacher, from the parent. So we are looking at it, but continuously keep on giving your feedback. As you said, it's very important. So I would like to go with a kind of feedback, the update with our school. We are opening the school for the year 13 students who are going to write their final school living examination in 2021 May, that year 13. They will resume their schools from 5th of October, means next Monday. We are trying out with them for the first week, and then the following week is our midterm break. After the midterm break, we are also bringing the year 11. Year 11 is going to write their end of middle school exams, e-assessment, MYP year 5, year 11 students. So they will be coming, so the 2 classes will be coming to school starting from 5th October, but we are bringing them in a staggered way. We are not bringing all the 75 students together. We are bringing 2 days for one class, 2 days for another class, and vice versa. So these students will be coming, and we are also going to keep our close eye on them, that how we are able to manage with them, how, health wise, safety wise, how they are interacting, whether our school infrastructure is really able to accommodate more students. Dr. Fatma is also working on it, that maybe we can bring another class. So we are in a process, but we do not promise anything. But at this moment, our promise to bring the children of year 11 and year 13 starting from 5th October. And this is a kind of update for our IBDP and IGCSE results, as a very short and, the kind of the graphical one. So this is where I have gone. Sorry. Yeah, this is the DP result is opening. It is taking little time. Yeah, this is our DP results. This is our DP results. This academic year of 2019-2020, we had 18 students appeared for the exams. And then percentage of the students passed, diploma candidate students, not 18 students actually, that did the diploma. 61 students actually, 61% students percentage passed with the diploma. And the 90% students, actually, it means that out of 18 students, 61% student, 18 students is 100%. Out of 18 students, number of students were in the courses. So their data is not here, they are separated. So out of that, 61% students appeared for the diploma. And out of 61%, 90% students passed with the diploma. We just have only one student who did not pass with the diploma. I can tell you in this way that out of 18 students, 12 students registered for the full diploma and 6 students registered for the courses. So out of these 12 students, 11 students passed with the diploma, which gives us a 90% of the total percentage. And total highest average point, actually it is 31. So the student, all the students average point was 31, which is pretty much high compared to the global data. And highest point of the students passed with the diploma is 37. So the one student got 37, 36, 32 kind of thing. And average point, because IB is being registered, IB is being, evaluated with 7 points. Highest point is the 7. 4 is the passing point and highest point is the 7. And our students passed with 5, which goes with the absolutely with the global rate. So we are at par with the global. Okay, so I just have to stop share this one and then I have to go back again. Where it has gone. Just give me 2 seconds. Yeah. So now, and this is our IGCSE results overview. Yeah, this IGCSE results, total students passed with A to C, A start to C, 77% students passed with A start to C. 13% students passed with A start to D. It means we have 2 students who got 2 Ds in out of 7 subjects. Some students also appeared for the 9 subjects. 5% students, means only 1 student passed with A start to, actually D and E. It should be E, sorry. This is a mistake. It is a E. And 1 student got G in 1 subject. So this is the total percentage. So the 77% students actually passed in all subjects, all 8 and 9 and 7 subjects. Minimum subject they have taken is 7 and maximum subject they have taken is 9. And they all passed with the, A to C. That is that rate is 77%, which is really, really good. 23% students got A and S stars, more than 7 subjects and above. 1 students got all S stars in 8 subjects and A in 1 subject. 1 students got all S stars in 8 subjects. This is the way. So number of students got, the S stars in 7 subjects. So this is that. 4% students really get the A and S star in the 5 subjects. 23% students got A and S stars in 3 subjects, and 50% students got A and S stars in 2 subjects or 1 subject. So this is a kind of a snapshot. We also did a lot of review with the subject-wise analysis, just to let you know that this is our last year of exams, last year of IGCSE. This year onwards, our students will be writing their that MOIP 5. This is our first cohort of students will be writing the MOIP final year E-assessment. Many schools here, couple of schools who are offering the MOIP, they are not taking the E-assessment, and we are very few schools in this continent who has opted for E-assessment. A number of schools are Kenya, South Africa, they are doing it, but I do not have any information that Lincoln does it. Lincoln doesn't do the E-assessment, and no other schools are really doing the E-assessment so far.
Yeah, to just kind of focus on that point, why we decided for the MYPA assessment, that it is actually approved by the OFCAL. OFCAL is the UK-based inspection of exams. So they kind of approved the exams to be used for university. So now the MYPE assessment is approved the same way that IGCSE and O levels are approved. So even students can go with their MYPE assessment to university, to a pre-U university program, which means that, so there's that aspect, which is providing our students with a certain certification that is recognized by universities in the UK and Europe. And the second thing, we thought that's a very good training for them for DP. So instead of just keeping them, and then DP, you have to go for exams, we say, let's give the MYP a shot at them getting ready to understand what it means to sit for an official exam, these are skills. They need to develop skills for sitting, though in IB we don't believe very much until DP with these exams, we believe in assessment, we believe in formative, summative, continuous assessment that defines the learning journey of the child. But DP is an examination program, a diploma, and they need to sit for that. So that's why MYP5, we said that's a good training for them and a good way to be more ready for what is to come.
All right, so yes, thank you so much for adding those points. And this year, our main focus in IBDP 5 years, we already have almost completed our 5 years journey with IBDP. And this year is coming as an evaluation, and which is a very, very, the detailed process, in a very extensive process. IB officials will be coming and checking how our program and standards are matching with their standard, how the schools are really doing. So we just do not get taken for granted that we got the authorization, so we are fine. No, our IB comes every 5 years to check how we are offering our program to the students. So they constantly evaluate. So that evaluation will be on in this year. So first draft of all the documents, we are sending it on 1st December. Then in the DP area, we have a big focus now, the university acceptance. Apart from one student in 2020 batch, every students are being accepted in the university. One students will be going to the university in this February, and majority of them, irrespective of diploma and the courses, they all got the acceptance in the university. As I said, that out of 18 students, 17 students got placement. One student decided to take gap year. This year is much more active. The students of these years are very focused, and already number of students are being nominated by different university in USA as well as in Canada for the scholarship option, full scholarship option. So your prayer, your good wish, it's really needs to work with our kids so that they are really going to be placed with a full scholarship. Last year also we have a number of scholarship, but this year we are really looking at much more better results. And the students are really good cohort of students, and we are very happy. Make sure that we really make them and send them to their dream university. Now I come to the IB MYP. As you know that we are running 3 different programs in this school. Within the 3 programs, we also have many other things inside. So IB MYP, as they are writing their final assessment at the end of this in 2021 May, we are mainly focusing on e-assessment and e-portfolio and the personal project, which we already have communicated to you in the different open house and this. I'm not going to go in detail. Mr. David, who is also sitting here as a parent, but David will take you through different time. He already had several meetings with you, so I'm not going in detail. And rest of the middle school, as Dr. Fatma says, that we are really not focusing more of an exam, not at all. We are looking at the authentic assessment. We are trying to focus on this part, what is the student's actual grade and what is the potential? What is the difference between, what is the delta part of it? We are really working on it. Means students can get, say, 5 now. With the support, with the help, with the proper intervention, how we can take them to that potential grade. So how we can really narrowing the gap between what they have achieved and how we can stretch them to the next level. We're really working on that through the diagnostic assessment, through the number of formative assessment, as well as at the end of the unit, the summative assessment. The diagnostic and the formative assessment will helping the teachers to adjust their the delivery of the content, giving the individualized attention. So we are really looking at our learning model, personalized learning model, and focusing more on that. And this is how we have started, because it is because of the blended learning platform, it become kind of easier for us. We are utilizing several different kind of the tools with the students, no matter where you are, what is your learning style. Based on that, we are working on it. But it is a progress. It is a 2 to 3 years, to get into the highest level. It is a practice which we have to continuously doing it. This is our main focus now. Then we have the IBCP, and IBCP we already have started our first cohort of students. And so far, yesterday I had a meeting with IBCP assistant IBCP coordinator, who is actually working with the students, and it seems that everything is in place. We have also the BTech. We also are working with the the SCAD, that Savannah College of Art and Design. Yesterday we had a webinar with our student. We continuously interacting with the students in that line. So far it is going fine. And staff training, this is what Dr. Fatma already mentioned, that we are really investing staff training to the maximum. Our staff did not rest during the vacation, honestly. And they are continuously, even tomorrow also we have a training. Any tools they are using, they are being trained. They are giving a training. You might have seen that your children are, all the children, specifically in the middle school, even the high school as well, they are using a tool called the Education Perfect. And Education Perfect itself is really combined with all those different kind of the needs of the children, and it's very personalized. Teachers are getting a training even tomorrow with the experts from the Education Perfect. So continuously, we also have given a complete training to the whole staff about the hybrid learning, blended learning, by the world-renowned experts in the hybrid learning, Ms. Kathleen Tucker, and every teachers have taken that training on the hybrid learning as they are teaching the classes. But does it mean that we are perfect? Absolutely no. It is a journey. We are trying. We have been continuously updating our staff, different kind of the skills development programs and everything. And we are also exhausting quite a lot of what the Google is giving us, like internet is awesome. All those resources we are bringing not only to the teacher, also to the students, to make sure that they really utilize that particular media of learning wisely. We are also giving the kind of the training to the teachers, like tomorrow is a big day for us to giving the teachers training on the global citizenship, child protection, as well as that how to run a debate. So that is going to be continuous, the training which is already in place. And the children will be working at home according to their own pace. Tomorrow is actually a no Zoom day. I cannot say that non-screen day, because kids has to work on their device and the screen, but it is a non-Zoom day. Means they don't need to wake up early in the morning, get ready for the homeroom. They will get up, they will take their own pace, and they will work on all the asynchronous mode according to the timetable. Tasks are all there in the Google Classroom. They'll be working on that. Then the staff and students' well-being is one of the key components in our school. It is already inside in our model. So that is why that we are really not leaving the children based on only that what you do it in the internet. We are not leaving the children, this is as you are at home, you do whatever you like. No, we are constantly, Dr. Punke and her whole department is consistently talking to the children, making sure that they are good at home, making sure their parents are also not having any problem. Wherever she finds any kind of a gap, and immediately she and her team really intervene that one. And we are really reaching to the family as well, because this is very important. Now the school has gone to your home. Absolutely, school is not really embedded in our classroom. It has gone to your home. We cannot deny your presence, your feedback, your support to run the school. So you are also part. Many occasions it happens, and we also really go to the parents and say to the parent, this is how we are doing it. Can you help? So many parents also came to me in different meetings and says that I have kept one of the teacher over there, would you really help us? We said we will be very fine to really work together, who is helping, so that we are all in one platform. So we cannot really deny your feedback. We cannot really say that it is our responsibility. Our responsibility to reach out to you, your responsibility also to reach out to us, give us a feedback, and that is a strength of our school, and we expect more and more from you. New thing that every first week of every month, we are sending the newsletter, and last month newsletter has already gone. This month newsletter will be going next week by Wednesday. And in the newsletter, we are going to update you with the key dates and the activities, what is happening. And if there is any kind of the changes are coming, we are going to give. And remember that our secondary newsletter is full of the information. So different kind of the program, every coordinator has something to say, every department under the secondary school has something to say. So we will be trying our best to make it as vibrant as possible, but mostly the information, secondary is mostly the information will be going to you. Please read our newsletter as it goes and reach out to us. Another important thing, which sometimes we feel that we are having some gap on that is the survey. Because without the parents and students survey, it is very difficult for us. Last year, we did a parents reflection survey. So we have decided that we are going to send 2 surveys in every semester. The reflection survey about their feeling about how the kids are really doing, how you as a parent, as a part of the community is feeling. We are going to send this survey also next week with the newsletter and prepare it. And you please fill the survey and get back to us with your comments. And that comment, that data is going to help us that where we stand and what modification we need to do. So these are the most important component which I would like to address here. Then the collaboration and communication, that is the key component, and I call it as a one of the strong characteristics which we have devised 2 years ago, but now it has become a kind of practice in place. Without your collaboration, without the communication, because we are restricted with our human interaction by somehow face-to-face interaction, because I always consider that face-to-face has a big values. Many problem resolves when you meet the people and talk to the people. So in online, definitely it makes us create a kind of the distance. If we can communicate better, if we collaborate together with your views and all, that would be really great. So feel free to communicate to me as a head of school. This is my email address. I will write down here. My Zoom is open from 8:30 to 4 p.m. every day. And this is my Zoom ID and the password, which I will add it in our chat box. Just a minute. I have 2 parents just rejoining again. Okay, so this is my ID, but you don't need to remember these ideas or all those things. You can take a picture of it, or you can just call our reception, and Madam Leticia will make an appointment, and I am always available to serve you. And that is the main thing in this academic year, because without you, we cannot really go anywhere. So thank you so much for this time. And this is the update I could give you now at this moment. Time for question and answer. I think we also have another important for, that agenda in the meeting is this one, Parent School Association. Dr. Fatma?
Yes, I just wanted Dr. Ada, she's here with us, to introduce herself and to kind of mention to the parents that we'll be meeting soon in the coming weeks to move forward on the PSA and reactivating the PSA, because with all what we've had to go through in the past month, this has been hard for a lot of parents. So Dr. Ada?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning. Good morning to the parents. Glad to be with you all this morning. The old parents, welcome back to new school term, and I feel very soon things will go back on track, and we can all continue with our community as before. The RX family, happy to have been a good experience with the school. My name is
Dr. Ada, we can hear you well. We can hear you well.
The PSA chairperson. Yeah, my name is Ada, and I'm calling as teachers.
Dr. Ada, it seems we have a connection issue. Do you mind writing whatever you want to write on the chat so that I shared with all? Just to kind of give feedback to you all about Dr. Ada. Dr. Ada is a doctor squared. She's a medical doctor and a PhD in public health. She's been with ARIS since ARIS was
community, and the PSA is still part of that. But not, life has to go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ada. Dr. Ada, please, can you put on the chat kind of key messages you want the parents to know about, so that we will have very soon, I think next week, a PSA meeting that we'll invite all parents to, and the way forward with PSA and what do we want to do all together for ARIS and for our parents community, specifically looking at the fact that we have a lot of new parents joining us this year. As I said, Dr. Ada has been with the school since it was a small house in Jolu, and she's seen all the transformations from it being a British national school to a Cambridge school to an IB school. So if you want to know exactly, you know, what we've done, how much we've changed, the transformation the school has been through. So our historian, I would give her that label, is basically Dr. Ada. She's been through everything. She's been through every IB program integration, every Cambridge program integration, and every new building and new construction, and she's seen it all, basically. So I highly recommend you. Maybe Dr. Ada, you can also put in your email. Your email there, your ARIS email, so that also parents can start connecting with you, sure, and talking with you about the way forward. Now, Q&A. We're ready for your questions and concerns. Please just unmute yourself and let's keep it informal if you have any concern or issued.
Morning.
Good morning, Binta. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to see you guys again.
Yes.
I know, I at least got to see you in person, like across the shop, but it's good to see you here as well. So I just wanted to follow up to see, I know we had like a good conversation with Dr. Alpana and like her team, I think about a week or two ago, when they were just letting us know about, you know, the kids coming back. So I apologize because I know my power went out. So just in case you've touched on this, I apologize. But I wanted to just kind of understand why like some of the classes are being pre-recorded, like for the teachers are being pre-recorded for the classes, and also still kind of have a better understanding why like the kids are coming in if they're still doing the classes kind of like still behind the screen. My concern, and I mentioned it to Dr. Alpana, Madam Alpana before, is that the issue of like maybe having like the students in the same class but taking different sessions, you know, and then having that question that, you know, I know visually is one thing, but even that you can speak, you know, kind of like you can't see me now, I can see you, but like at least you can still hear me in real life, as opposed to having to type my question and then you messaging your question back or something like that. And particularly with, again, economics, and French. I feel like for me, at least for my student, I know those are classes that is really, really good in person. And I know that you've said that, you know, you're taking your teachers through the training and to be able to just kind of adapt to the way things are now. I think French particularly is one that is really, really needed given what IB requires, you know, and going more into like, you know, the modern kind of doing blogs and things like that and kind of coming into that. So that's usually my concern, because I'm constantly trying to check in with Sana to see like, what is it that you're going through? What is it that, you know, you're having a harder time adapting and things like that. So I think so far, you know, like she's made the best of it. And I think the school is really working with us. I think honestly, maybe during COVID, actually, you've communicated with us more than ever before, which I mean, I really enjoy. I really enjoy like all of the notes and, you know, everything I'm getting. And then my only other, I guess, feedback would be when Madam Alpana, you mentioned the surveys. It's great getting the surveys, but I feel like sometimes there's no space within the surveys to actually allow us to say what we want to say in terms of like a feedback, like an open section. So usually it's kind of like the survey you just sent for the kids for year 13 and year 11. It's about, okay, coming in, I would have loved to see a section that says, maybe I want to try it for a couple of weeks or a month to see if it works. And then maybe not, then I can keep my student back. So it was kind of just pick yes or no, pick yes or no, pick yes or no. But then it doesn't really give me an option to say, what if I have a question? Any of that is not really included in that survey. So I would love to see that in the surveys moving forward.
Can I answer you, Binta, a couple of things? I think I can answer. Sure. Yes, Dr. Fatma is always there to fill in. One thing that first, let me break down your questions in 3 parts. First part is the survey, which is the last. Yes, survey, we send it to you, but before the survey, that is why we did the meeting with you, because we just did not throw the survey to you just like that. We had a meeting and we listened to you, that your views, and we looked into that part, because in the meeting, number of parents really concerned about the questions you raised here. Means what is the meaning of bringing them to school when we are still behind the screen? And we answered that in this way. And definitely in my reflection of survey which we are going to send, I will put an open-ended part, and this is a very good feedback, Binta, you have given. We will make sure that that really shows and reflect into our survey. We will do that thing. Next, then I come to the economics and French. Probably you are disconnected on that day, and I explained to you our classes and the students, because of our personalized learning model, honestly, every child is having a very diverse combination of subject. No one child has the same kind of the combination of subject where I can put them in a group. So when I try to do that thing, honestly, I tried my best to make sure that reduce the instruction time. I failed to do because of the heterogeneity in the class in terms of the subject selection. So what we are doing it for the students, those, and beauty of, or the plus point of bringing the students to school, as for example, the music, teachers and students need face-to-face. That option will be available there. We can accommodate 5 students. If the 5 students are there, 5 students can take the class without behind, without behind the screen. They will be taking. When it comes to the French and economics, number of students are many, and every students are having a different type. But after 3:15, or when the students are having the free lesson and teacher is also having the free lesson, then the students can really meet the teacher face to face, stand behind, teacher, I'm there, give me my feedback. I need you to tell me. So that option, I kept it there. And the students will be able to do that thing. And I think this is very important, that students do not need to wait for the teacher's email. They can just stand there and go and say that I need the feedback. Can you give me the feedback? That kind
of thing. Same thing, the teacher can also reach out to the students that I'm free on that time, come meet me if you have prep, so that we can go. The thing is bringing them in the way we've set it up, our priority was number one was safety, health and safety. So priority number one. So how can we ensure health and safety means no more than 5-6 students per class. That's how severe we went. We could go up to 11, 12, by the way, looking at our dimension, but we went a bit extreme to say, let's start. We want to start a bit on the, it's better to err on the safe side versus, you know, being more of, you know, let's take risks. So we went as low as saying we want only 5 kids per class, and let's build it from there. So I think it's also about starting really with safe structure, because as if you could see the Padlet that everybody, your first concern is health and safety, and it remains our concerns, the health and safety. So 5 kids per class. So the only way we can do that is to continue giving that online, kind of recorded and kind of you submit online and things, but there's also the human interaction. The teachers are here, so during your prep time, you can meet with them. The teachers can assign specific time. They want you to work with you specifically on certain things under specific protocols of health and safety. You also get to connect with the peer, because we know also learning with the peers, you know, that's a very peer assessment, peer support is also super important. So we get that back into play, you know, that social, a bit of social interaction under clear safety protocols also we still get. So it's a build up. We need to start with very strict, very kind of a bit over the top safety measures. Then and as things settle down, we can become kind of more comfortable with then adapting and changing. But really, we don't want to take any chances, honestly. And I don't think you guys would want us to take any chances with your kids when they come to school. So we're going
I mean, I understand that. And I understand, like, in terms of like taking the risk, I guess, like, you know, I was also like checking in with like some of my other parent friends in like other schools. So I know maybe like they're still teaching. So for example, I have a friend whose kid is at Galaxy, and the way they've decided to do it is like, you know, like some of the seniors can go into class, but they would go in, even though it's online, they're learning behind a screen, because the class is happening live, I guess. So, you know, it's not recorded. So if the student goes in, they will still be in the class while the teacher, you know, it's being recorded for the people who decided to maybe say stay at home, right? So the thing is, say you're teaching the class now, I'm in your class, but I'm behind the screen, but I'm there at least in person for that particular topic that's going on. So I wasn't sure how, like,
it would depend on how numbers. If they only have 5 or 7 kids per class, then of course they can do it. But we have some of the classes, we have 37 students doing English. So how can we can't put them together? We have, you know, so the numbers dictate. And as Alpana said, if it's the music, we only have 3-4 kids. So of course they can do the live. So it's very much dependent on the numbers. So I don't know what Galaxy has as numbers of students taking these exams, but I would be careful if they would put 30 kids in one class to teach live. It definitely doesn't.
No. It wasn't like those many kids too, like in one class. It was just like I said, if it's, you know, that's why again I mentioned particularly just those two classes.
Our room can accommodate 10 students, but I am not letting Dr. Fatma to go on that, and I have requested that please let us start with a 5 student. And
I understand.
Everything goes well, because you know that I kept on saying that we all have to look after each other. But if one case comes up like that, then it will be a disaster for all of us. So let us go one baby step at a time. Look at it, see how it interacts, look at least the month of October, how it is going. Then slowly we will unpack. Slowly we will go to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. So let us also be patient. I think something is always better to bring the children to back to school, get the opportunity to do the lab at least in hand, get the opportunity to meet the teachers and their friends, and the lunch period. We make the lunch canteen in such a way that 35 students can easily be accommodated in the lunch area, making sure instead of 4 students, 2 students will be sitting in two different area in one table. so that they maintain the keep distance well, while they can also interact. So that 40 minutes time, they will be meeting with their with their friends. So that can also give them a sense of community, being a last year of schools. So these are the things we really looked into very well, but we are flexible. I see the flexibility is the mantra now, that we will.
No problem. I understand the health complication. Trust me, I know Sana's asthmatic, so we don't take that risk at all. So that is an issue. It's more just like wanting to understand what's available and what's not. And obviously, I know it's a process to bring them back. So that's not an issue at all.
How about the physical education? I mean, with the infrastructure that you have, isn't it possible that you can have sessions with a few people, like 7, 10, spaced among the around the area that you have? Because now they're doing physical education in their small room. Basically, what they're doing is just some gymnastic. Isn't it possible to do the same in your premises?
Do you mean bringing the other students in, or because the other students were not allowed by the government to bring them in? It's until January. Come January, come January,
that I understand.
Come January, we know that our facility can hold the students, but we need, as I said, in our scenarios, come even January, depending on the local situation, we will start moving forward with and we will start the same way we're doing with the high schoolers. We'll start with smaller numbers and build up from there, because that's the safest way. And all schools and everywhere I've known, and I've connected with principals who've opened their schools, that's the main recommendation. Start little by little and then expand once the students understand what it means. The students respect the protocols of face mask, washing, because this is all training. So we cannot just bring everybody and say, let's figure it out with them. No, we bring little, in batches. We train them very well. We make sure they become part of us, of making that the community safe. And then we expand from there. So that's the main process that we have in place. But our facilities is capable of holding all our students with this social distancing. That's for sure.
It isn't. I thought I understood that you had something called Iris Academy, which is like separate from the school, or no? Because that's what my understanding.
No, it's the land. It's here. So we expanded our land, and we're developing our sports facility.
But is it as a license? Is it separate from the school?
No. It's the same. It's the school.
Okay.
It's the school. But the thing is, we cannot put classes mainly. Yes, the PE, definitely. PE, they will go outside. There will be social distancing. They'll do their fitness, but not until we're allowed to do group games, group sports. These will come afterwards, but they will have fitness, this for sure. Once they come back, for sure they will have these PE lessons outside.
Okay.
Any other question?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. So Dr. Fatima, before opening a school, we heard that for primary school, this is what government doesn't allow the kids come to school up to January. But for secondary school, even we had meeting with you guys that you said that for secondary, you will start like little by little, maybe 2 days a week for each group, 5 by 5 or 6 by 6, I don't know. But then now you just mentioned about year 11 and year 13. So what about the other secondary years, like year 10, year 9? They are not
the government hasn't allowed it until January. They only allowed for year 11 and year 13.
And also the year 11, the school who are taking the end of school year exams, because the schools who are not doing, like Lincoln hasn't got the permission to bring the year 11 students because their students are not going for the e-assessment. We got the permission because we have a e-assessment in place. So they made it very clear. They had a meeting with all of us, all the head of schools and the director, and make it very clear that no way you are bringing the children to school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even 2 days ago, they sent an email to all of us that for some earlier schools and Montessori center that you're opening under recreation, and that's completely allowed. You either stop or you're in trouble with the government. So also all the early years centers had to close down completely. So they're being very strict, and they are kind of inspecting schools. They inspected us. They actually came here to inspect the health and safety aspects before we were allowed. Okay, any other question? Please, if anything, don't, you know, we tend to kind of have these coffee mornings as a community, you know, for us to get to know each other, discuss concerns we have as a community, for us to pick your brains about what is important for us, how we need to move forward. So we will do that. We do that 3-4 times a year, but please don't consider this the only time where you get to us. You contact us and, you know, and bring forward your concerns. We are open anytime. Our emails are there. Our systems are there. So please reach out to us at any moment, because really the sooner you do it, the better we're capable of serving you and your kids, basically. Okay.
May I ask a last question to Ms.
Yes.
Alpana, because I'm lost a little bit. You know, we are new to your school, so I thought that you didn't have IGCSE and A-level curriculum. And in your presentation, you said that you gave us the result of the IGCSE of last year.
Okay.
So,
yeah, very good question, sir. Very good questions. No, we don't have the IGCSE. Actually, what happened? We implemented MOIP stage by stage. So this year of 2020 May was our last cohort of IGCSE student. We don't have any more IGCSE now. The first batch of MOIP will be writing their examination in 2021. So that's why the results I gave you, the IBDP for the A level, which is equivalent with A level, and the IGCSE from the, you know, the O level. So IGCSE, that is the last year of IGCSE's result, which I shared because we did not have any opportunity to share the results with the parent. So the coffee morning we share. Yeah.
okay, I understand. Thank you.
But Alpana, you mentioned something about like the colleges and going through, the kids going through with like the universities and talking, and kind of like some of them being even kind of chatted or have this opportunity for like full ride scholarships and things like that. Can you explain a little bit more about that, or just clarify a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our guidance counselor, career guidance counselor is really working with individual students to go through that wherever there is a possibilities of the scholarship, in whether it is in US or Canada or anywhere. So she is really making sure that she nominates our students there based on the cited certain criteria. So she has started working with individual students, and every students are having some time, you know, with the career guidance counselor. Not only she is doing that, she's also connecting the students with the university students who are already taking the courses there, so that students can really talk to each other and get a sense of the life, and which we didn't do before, but we have started doing it in this year. So every year we are trying to do that thing, and this year that we are getting more scholarship opportunities than the last year. Even though we know that scholarship amount will be reduced because of the COVID and the economic situation, but still we are hoping that definitely we'll be able to place a couple of students in different places. And she is not really looking at one or two like that. She is really talking to each and every student. And please check with your child if there is anything that is missing. I would really happy to connect your child with a career guidance counselor. She is very dynamic, and she's really working with the students. Both Emil and Beatrice, both of them are working together as a team and making sure that everybody is in good place, and the university where they are really aspiring for. So let me know.
Sounds like a plan. No. She said good things about it. I just wanted to hear what you were saying, but like we follow up, and like she said, like, you know, she's working with Mr. Mill and like the process and stuff. So
she's actually nominating throughout the stages. You know, it's not that want to, you know, you come, not like that. You might be having 40 in your score, but you might not be having other skills. So she is really making a complete criteria of selecting the students, and the students need, and she's looking at the students, you know, that contribution to the community. She's looking at the essays in the, so every aspects of the universities. Actually, she placed quite a number of good students. I had an opportunity yesterday to meet a couple of students in other university in Canada. And these students were actually coming from, one of the students she nominated last year, she was working as a house girl in one of the person house. And the owner found out the talent of that girl. That owner admitted the child in a Morgan International School. And that girl got admission to a full scholarship in University of Toronto. And I had an opportunity to meet that girl yesterday, and it was overwhelming. And so we are really blessed to have a fantastic team in our community, and we hope that we'll be taking to the next level where we are now.
For all parents, understand that university doesn't have, application doesn't happen the last 2 years. It's actually, and I've been telling my son, the moment you hit year 7, year 8, start thinking of building a CV. Everything you're doing, put it somewhere. Fill it, write it somewhere and keep it, because that's all going to go into building your CV. Because if you want to get into good university, you're considering scholarships, also understanding more where you want to go. So these reflections also happen. And I always recommend parents, as soon as possible, talk to our career and guidance counselor. Tell them, what are your aspirations? What do you think for your kids? And they will guide you from now. Make sure he has this on summer, make sure they go to these summer programs because they will acquire these skills. Let them do, summer jobs. All of that starts as early as possible, because it's not only about building the CV, but also about building that student or that individual that is so special and so rich. And that person has so much to talk about when they will be interviewed. Okay?
Yeah, well, that's great. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? We know we took an additional half an hour. Maybe this is what we need to do next time. Say it's going to be for 1.5 hours. If you're all no questions. For the football, yes. So the thing, we go back, we even our football court is going to be used for an afternoon academy, but not for school, because we're going to go gradual. And once we feel it's safe, we're going to open all these other group sports. But for now, it's individual sports and not group sports, because it's easier to track. With group sports means we have to send everybody home and school hours. If one of them develops COVID, means everybody goes home and close the school. So right now, individual sports is easier and more trackable. I hope that's a word. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we can close, but please, our emails are there. Our contacts are with you. Connect with us at any moment if you have any concern or any feedback. Thank you so much and have a great day. And once again, happy International Coffee Day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye. Enjoy your day.